we're going to be featuring Winter against Stefan Rao.
My goodness.
Yeah, should be an interesting game as always.
And we got two other fine Scrabble experts to regale us with their Scrabble antics. So on the left we have Winter. Winter is no first name or last name. He is just Winter. This is in fact legally the case. I'm not just making that up. And we have longtime Northeast expert and radiologist by day, superhero by night, Stefan Rao. And we see QI go down for 22 points. A lot of the times when you have QI, you're just going to play QI. It's just about as simple as that.
We all know that QI is the best play all the time, so that is the best play here.
Austin, you've returned. Thank goodness. I was starting to get very nervous.
No problem. I'm back. Nothing to worry about.
I was going to say, I know you're still in recovery from your 16-hour stream. I'm just going to keep inflating that to larger and larger numbers of hours.
Feel free.
Just to, increase the mythos. So Stefan has an eye, so he can play underneath QI himself. But it's
he has a bingo.
Clear. Oh, he does have a bingo. A little slow on the uptake there, and he has spotted the bingo.
But which way does he play it?
He's going to play it the way that scores him points. That is on the board and not virtually or
in the wrong order.
Metaphysically. Yes. Very nice. Strigils for 60 points.
Yeah.
A strigil is an instrument used by ancient Romans/Greeks for scraping the skin, especially after the bath.
No.
That's sort of the equivalent of the Korean spa experience in modern times.
Can't say I've had one myself, and probably will never have one.
It's wonderful. Actually, I haven't had it. I'm just bantering, but I've not been strigiled.
And Winter has a play of Vrou, Vrouw, through the Art of Strigils, which actually wouldn't have been possible if Strigils was played the other way. So again, minor details here can make a big difference. So this is actually giving him a way to get rid of his worst 4 tiles, I guess, for 22 points, a decent number. He could also have played Woobut on the T of Strigils as well, one of the same number of points, keeping EV. I don't know if that might be slightly more favorable, potentially. I don't know, but both very close in evaluation.
Yeah, Vrou is one of those, it looks super obscure, but it's one of the very, very few words with a U, V, and W. So if you're going to learn one of these words, that one's going to come in handy very soon.
Exactly. And getting rid of those bad tiles, Winter actually ends up picking up a bingo, ISO Bear. But here comes Stefan with a G, getting rid of, I'd say, your probably your worst 4 tiles again, and scoring a good number of points with it. So again, I think that's pretty much a top play. Nothing much to say about that one.
And now Winter has himself a potential bingo rack.
Yes. So what does he play? Where is the best place?
In general, if you're wondering how does he know that he has a bingo, you learn these combinations. AEIRS is a really, really potent. You can add almost any 2 letters to that and get a 7-letter word. So this is kind of when you go down that path of starting to study words, he would encounter this pretty quickly. He's probably known the bingo in this rack for 15 years, I would guess, at this point, since he's a long timer.
Definitely, definitely. And so Isobear would have played with Rouse, but it got blocked. So actually, Isobear's a 7 doesn't play on this board. He can only play Isobears through either of the S's or Strigils. So he has three combinations. Obviously, playing Isobears at the top with the I sticking out in triple. He can also do the same thing at the bottom of the board with the S at the bottom, or he can play Isobears here, where he's doing now tripling the B and not opening a triple. So this looks like it's the best play. It's a high scoring bingo, 72 points. The 72 point? No, it's not 72 points. It's actually 68 points. Sorry, Isobez at the top would have been 72 points. So he's taking a 4 point hit to play slightly more defensively. And I've always found Winter to be a slightly more defensive player than most of the top players in the Division One. So this again kind of fits in with I think his style.
Yeah, I think it looks very reasonable.
Yeah, I think so too.
Now, Stefan has himself a rack that looks pretty promising, but it could go a lot of different directions. It'll be interesting to see whether he prioritizes, whether he just plays off a couple of tiles and tries to prioritize keeping a bingo lead, or if he could actually play a lot of tiles with something like Farseed, Farcied, on
Mhm.
through that R of Isobears for 34 points, but it would only leave a T, so he'd kind of be resetting the rack. In my experience of Stefan's game, I think he will play something a little bit shorter and try to set himself up for a bingo, but let's see what he does.
Yeah, and in that vein, actually looking through the engine options here, they actually come up with options like faceted through the E of Biter Bears, doubling the F and the C for 40 points. Again, very attacking play because it opens up a big, huge spot with the triple with the A dangling in a very tantalizing place. And another option for playing fewer tiles is playing Fid underneath the OBA of Isobez for 29, keeping ACET, which kind of does a more of a job in terms of going for a bingo on very next turn. So there's a few options there. He can also play Fated as well underneath OBARE of Isobez, 5 on top underlap. And there's another cool play of Defecate through the two E's of the
Wow.
G and Isobez, which we keep an eye, but it's a nice looking play if anyone wanted to get some style points on the board.
Defecate, beautiful.
Who would have thought those two words would have been used in the same sentence?
First time I've used them that way, certainly.
Yes, I pretty much think that might be the only time.
One hopes.
But yeah, those options. There's so many other options that are kind of very similar in terms of how good they are. So you mentioned Farseed. That's also on the list, very close to the top. Again, playing anything underneath Isobez like Fade or DeFi, also very similar. So this is not a clear cut, like top move anywhere. This is now kind of again kind of going down to stylistic things here, what he wants to do and how he wants to see the game being played.
Well, from a game theory perspective, I feel like I've said that too many times while streaming. I probably need to start taking penalty shots at some point. But um, should he spend a lot of time on a move where all the options are very close to each other? Or should he just pick one relatively quickly, thinking that they're probably quite close and just save time for future tough situations?
Right. And I will quote what something that David Elder has said as well about this. And he says, time is money. So every single time you spend a minute on your clock, you're kind of expending, say, points, because if you have more time at the end, you're going to get more points and have more time to think about things. So as Stefan is playing Fate, or Fated actually, he's playing one of the top moves available to him. So in that sense, you actually kind of want to you evaluate it and be like, okay, they're all kind of similar. Just pick one and let's just go with it. Let's not take too long. And you never know. Towards the end of the game, you might have a very very complicated end game to work out where there might be only a few different ways to win, and you need all that time to work it out. So I would definitely suggest to just kind of pick something, move on, and carry on with your life. Basically, move on to the next puzzle.
Well, that's what Winters decided to do by glancing at the board after faded, not seeing much, and just decided to make a put a play on the board relatively quickly.
Yes, and Oleg actually is the stand-up play here. It's quite a bit better than the next play, so he doesn't
Very
say an
nice.
easy, yeah, not necessarily someone say easy to find Oleg, but if he sees that play, then I think he'll recognize it's the best play here. So he found it, he played it straight away, and he picked out the black.
Yeah, I think I err on the side probably of spending too much time trying to optimize individual plays because I guess my gut sense, if I play something that I'm not happy with, that's likely to make me it'll throw me off. It's like I'll waste time later thinking, oh, could I have done better on this move? And uh, but yeah, I really like. There's a great comment in chat about the clock is a piece, or the clock being a piece in
Yes,
chess,
exactly.
and I
That's
think
right.
that's really well said.
It's a very good analogy. And also in the chat, Ryan W has just suggested XU and X um, above the ES of isobars. So that actually looks like it's the best play, but again, it gives away a lot of points above it. So you can hook the A or the E above XED, and any four-letter word where you can do that and hook something onto US as well, then that's going to give away a lot of points. So it's very dangerous to play that, but you're getting a good 38 points from XU and keeping five pretty good tiles. So it might be worth playing that anyway. There's not really that many other options that you can actually play for that many points. So it's quite likely that might end up coming down. But another option that I'm kind of seeing also is playing Hewick and CH. So which is actually what Stefan has lined up on his rack. And you can decide to play that and then play where he has racks left over. You can play racks above the ARE of Isobears the next turn and not have to worry about the triple being open. So it could be like a bit of a 1-2 punch here, getting a good 30, 40 points on 2 turns. And he's clearly thinking ahead in terms of what potential he can make with his rack and trying to get himself ahead in this game.
That's really well spotted. That's what he's thinking about. I think he's going to do it. It's a very
Yep.
elegant sequence of events. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And then now that's on the board, he can play XED and not have to worry about that triple. Is now he's taken it, doesn't have to worry about it.
But of course, given our omniscience, the amusing thing is that had he played XU, Winter had no response whatsoever because he
Exactly.
didn't
You
have
just
an
have to
A,
hit
he
him.
didn't have an A for Axe and E for X. He would have
Exactly.
he would have actually caused Winter some major headaches. So it's just kind of the luck of the draw that uh, is a very sound decision on his part. But the volatile play would have worked quite well also.
Exactly. And I mean, he wouldn't even have anything above the US either. He's nothing, absolutely nothing to go there. Kind of a sitting duck if that gets played. But again, Stefan not to know. But with Winter here, his rack, he has Dirtier on his rack, which doesn't play. And I can already tell you that there are no playable bingos here. And he has kind of, this is it's either kind of like a gold mine in terms of a rack where you can play all these kind of bad tiles and get a lot of points, or you're going to end up with pretty much nothing because I think really his highest score here without using the blank is not even anywhere near 20. He's going to have to get rid of the I and the R, which are again I keep mentioning IR. I don't want to keep mentioning in front of you, but
Ugh,
um, but
ugh.
he has to get rid of those.
Oh, geez, just had flashbacks again.
I keep saying that all the time. I know. I should try not to keep those letters in the same sentence in front of you next time. I'm sorry. I forget.
Maybe they should just add it to the dictionary already.
That would be the easiest thing. Maybe they just do it to taunt you next time.
So I think Diver would make sense through the RE, although it's nothing especially spectacular. I'd be a little confused if I were Winter about Hewick going down because he also could have played the same letters under RE. He could have played Rec and CH and EDH, and then played across. So I think you look at Hewick and think that Stefan might have very unusual letters, maybe a bunch of vowels or something like that. It's
Hmm.
it'd be a little bit like any play at that spot would have been 37 points or something like that. But I don't think Winter cared that much there. He's just played a reasonable balancing play. He's going to try to draw a little better and try to bingo.
Yes. So he played Dyer. Actually, is pretty much the top play here. I know Ryan W in the chat also said redid. So using the same letters, but playing through the ED of Ito Bears and Fated, which is actually the same number of points, but probably gives away a bit more potentially because the double word score where the second R of Dyer is would still be open. But Stefan has the N and the X still to play there and plays Nix for a lot of points. So another in this again. So just kind of thinking ahead of having dangerous tiles for future players, and now he's got his nose in front.
Is Stefan hiding the seventh tile from himself on purpose? Am I seeing that right?
I mean, it's off the rack. I mean, it's off the view of the rack that we can see, but it's right there.
I think he did that intentionally. I think that was just give yourself a little extra jolt of adrenaline. Oh, Winter has made a nice play here. I was going to mention this play, but Winter is actually just making it right away. So he's making Bay, BAE, which, believe it or not, is Scrabble acceptable as of recently. See, we're not totally behind the times. And this is a nice score here. This is a really, he got to that very quickly. I'm quite impressed.
Yeah, and Marlight actually is 78 points. Is actually the highest scoring bingo playable here. So he found I can be the best play. Other options are like Ultraism or Trialism through the S of Strigils at the top. Does open the board up a little bit more, but again, with Winter's kind of style, I know him to be a bit more kind of cagey, a bit more kind of wants to kind of keep the board under control. I think Marlight kind of does what he wants to achieve. It does block Rousant, which is what Stefan has on his rack, but
Stefan
should
has an
still be able to do
alternative, and
something here.
it is still going to bingo, yeah.
Exactly, yes. He has multiple place to play it, and you can now play Samtors on the S of Strigils. That's actually the only playable bingo available to him. And it looks like he's almost put them all in the right order as we look at it.
Threatening a play of Santorum, which would just would be reprehensible because not a word, obviously.
We could also do Santoku as well, which was actually in the right order if the I was a K. But he has finally found and playing Santors for 68 points. Best play there by a mile. No other possible bingos. So great job to Stefan.
Yeah, this is really shaping up. It's the scores are really level. They're playing. They seem like they're both playing real well. This is getting very interesting. We're headed towards an interesting finale here.
And there's actually one very, very good play for Winter here, which I just leapt out of me as soon as he played Santos and saw his rack. He does have a 5-letter word that goes that goes above Santos. And it
Oh,
looks
is
like
he going to play it immediately?
he's going to find it, and he looks like he's about to play it straight away.
Jeez,
So Lini actually is a word.
Winter is on one. I mean, he's
He is,
just
yeah,
he's like
5
Nigel
points.
Richards in disguise or something right now.
Wow. Very, very good. Very good spot there from Winter. Again, Lini kind of opens up the triples at the top. So Allah is going to be a danger here. And Stefan does have an A. He also has the A for AU as well, hooking onto the YU. And he also has the K as well, K for Caillou. But it looks like
They're going to look
it's
this one up.
like it's going to be a challenge. So Lini is actually one of those kind of strange 5-letter words that doesn't really make anything else. You can't do linear or linearist or anything. It's just a straight 5 that doesn't really do anything else. So it's kind of one of those words that you just kind of have to study and just know that it's there, it's standalone, and it's coming in useful now because it's going to net Winter 60 points. So 55 plus the challenge, 60 points.
That's like a bingo in response.
Oh, let's see. I didn't actually remember what Stefan's rack was.
He
Yeah.
has he has letters. He has 7 of them. I can almost guarantee that.
I'm sure he has. Hopefully, nothing more than that.
Yes. If he does, then he should be reported. So yeah, for the crowd. Okay, it looks like yeah, Aliener. There is no linear. So if you ever see linear, Leanier, your brain should immediately scramble that and make aliener instead. One who aliens. I know it doesn't sound more like the word, but it's a very common combination. So startle your friends and family with aliener the next time you play.
But it clearly startled Stefan, and he is.
Understandably.
Yeah, oh, definitely, definitely. But yeah, he has some kind of clunky tiles with the Y, the K, the U, the M. And there's
Oh,
actually
we're
yeah, go
told
ahead.
that Winter made a mistake. I'm sorry to interrupt. Winter apparently overdrew by a tile. So that was what it actually was, not a case of challenging the word. Winter overdrew. That's
Oh,
the first mistake we've seen him make.
yeah, and it doesn't look like it's actually going to slow him down. Looking at his rack,
Quite the opposite.
whatever tile that Stefan picked, it was not the right one. Or maybe
Wow.
I don't know, but
So the overdraw rule, for those of you who aren't familiar, is because it would be you would give yourself a big advantage if you have 8 tiles instead of 7. So the punishment is your opponent picks 3 of them sight unseen, and then or he flips over 3 of the tiles that you're getting, and then chooses one to return to the bag. So you only get to keep 2 of the 3 tiles, and your opponent decides. So if Stefan had seen the blank, he almost certainly would have sent it back to the tile bag. Would have been very painful for Winter. So yeah, sometimes you got to be lucky and good.
yeah, definitely, definitely, it's yeah, you just have to make sure. The easiest thing to do is to not overdraw, and you'll be okay.
So what does Stefan actually do here? He seems at a bit of a loss, or maybe I'm just
So,
projecting because that's how I feel looking at his options. So what do you think?
so I think what he can potentially do here is to play Caillou and Caillou. I mean, it's the same word each time. He
Ah,
can
the
keep
worst
mate.
cartoon, Caillou. Oof.
Um, so I think that's something that he can potentially do here. And it's going to get him 40 points just by playing a three-letter one. And he can set up that A or keep that A for next turn if his opponent doesn't have one, which we can see here. He does not. So you could get, again, like Hewick and Nix, what he did before. He's kind of setting up two kind of, 1-2 punches with Kai for 40, and then potentially getting a big score with Allah on the other triple on the other side of Leany.
Very nice, very reasonable, and that's exactly what he's chosen to do.
Yep, 40 points.
But
Doing
look at
very
the
well.
immediate response from Winter. Oh my goodness. 57 points for Shopped, keeping a blank.
Yes,
Stefan will never suspect that he has the blank in hand. That is just
it's unbelievable. That's
he's just
pretty much going to be,
bulldozing.
yeah, best play pretty much every time.
But Stefan has drawn a massive response. He's drawn the Z or the Z. I guess it's Canada Day, so I had to go with I had to throw in a Z reference. But
Yeah, big
goodness,
score.
he's going to score massively
A
thanks to the
lot.
addition of Zen to the dictionary in a
Yes.
recent update.
Yeah, so Maze is going to go in the top left corner there, I believe. And the score is almost too high for me to count. Somewhere in mid 60s, probably. On
Yeah, after a point, you just get to lots. You just say,
It's around
30,
that.
40, 50 lots.
But yeah, that's going to be a big score. And I guess Winter will probably bingo next turn.
Right. He's actually
It's
picked up
probably,
quite good letters
yeah,
you flipped over 6 new tiles. It could have been anything. And they look pretty serviceable.
Yeah. But yeah, he's going to need a big score now, like Mays, to kind of keep himself in it. Of course, he doesn't know that Winter is probably sitting on something big here, but he needs to find Mays and play it. I mean, you can actually score a lot with a Z above Marlight as well. So, but I think you have to play the Z on the triple. That's where it needs to go.
Right. There's actually two 60-point spots for Maze, aren't there? There's the very top left of the board where I think it scores 67, and the bottom left where he can play Maze and Za, which is a
Oh
slice
yes,
of pizza, and
exactly.
that's 58. So really
Wow,
has an embarrassment of riches.
exactly, exactly. And if he played Maze, that actually, ironically, if he plays it at the bottom left, he actually might block Vintage Bingo. But again, there's never really the right move to do. He obviously doesn't know that. But it would be a funny occurrence if he ends up doing something like that, or Meze, and keeping the A again for the top left corner. That might also be an option potentially.
Well, we saw some highly unexpected but very effective blocking play last game, so it would be really quite something to see a reprise of that right now. But I think playing Maze, making Ala, Zen, and Eat at the top left is just going to prove irresistible. I think that's 67 points.
Yeah, 67. It's got to be. It's got to be played here. I think.
Now, let's. How many bingo options does Winter have? I see Onioned, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, does he have
Um,
much else?
hmm.
I mean, the way Winter's been playing, I expect him just to throw down Onion within approximately a half second. But does he have any fallback options?
So as far as I can see, he actually doesn't have any other playable bingos other than Onion. He does have Condone as another, the only other seven-letter word on his rack, but I don't see anything else that's actually playable with the letters that he has. So I think that's the only option he has. And again, if he's seen it, he's going to play it straight away.
Stefan running the clock down 7 minutes. Yeah, he takes the points
Yeah,
because
he's got to. I think he's got to.
not much of an alternative. So he retakes the lead,
Yeah,
but possibly briefly.
we'll have to see how quickly Winter plays his word.
And given the pace that Winter's been playing at, if he doesn't play Onion right away, then you start to wonder if he's whether he spotted it. Oh, already grabbed the tiles. My goodness.
Yeah, it's relentless scoring
Just
from Winter here, and
just
the
oh,
only
but
downside.
he's going to give Stefan a massive response by his
Oh,
choice of a
yes.
placement. And
So the
he's
D.
hit his
Yeah.
clock.
Wow, the D is open right there for debating. Stefan will have. I'm sure has probably already seen it. He's just doing the math as he has to. But debating is the clear and obvious play here.
That's a
Definitely expecting to
shocking
see it.
decision. Oh,
Yeah, he
Winter's
could have.
thinking
Yeah.
about it. He hasn't hit his clock.
Whoa. Okay, so he could easily scoot it up by two more positions. It scores a bit less, but at least it wouldn't give away any floaters. Actually, it would actually kill off the board completely. So I don't know. I mean, is it worth it here? I mean, he's about 25 behind,
Oh,
and I don't know. Is it? No, he's played it. He's played it.
that hurts. It's amazing what a game of inches this can be because I think what he did is totally defensible, but it's the difference between being a big favorite and being in a lot of trouble.
Yes, exactly. And Evil Budgie in the chat said that you can also parallel with the ONED of Onion, or even the I as well if you want, for a lot of points as well. So it's it gives away a lot of points. As we see Stefan play debating for 95 points. So
Wow.
that's going to put him in great shape now. I mean, we don't know what Winter has, but I think there are no more tiles left in the bag. I think Stefan's going to pick out 5 tiles. I think is that right? Yeah,
Wow.
those are the 5 tiles
Winter
left.
looks pretty unfazed. Oh, that last
Oh,
W.
almost, not quite.
That W was
Yeah,
not a welcome sight because if he'd pulled one of the E's, because one of the things, if both people bingo, then in this kind of case, any of the letters you see on one rack could just as easily have ended up on the other rack. So Winter could very easily have drawn into overeat on the third column, which would have fit,
yeah, would fit.
making do, na, and it. But that W, then again, wait a second. Now that I look at this, I don't think Stefan can go out that quickly. So if Winter had two massive plays back to back, it probably can't happen. But I see a Vower for 43. If there's a great
Yeah.
spot for the T, then can he catch up?
So Eval would give away Feg underneath it or above it, even either way, and that's actually going to be enough to outrun anything that Winter does. So it does look like Avowed is the actual best play anyway, because there's actually nothing else that scores even 40 or even 30 points. The next one is actually just Avow and Dow on the left side of Do. That's the next highest scoring play that he can play. So there's a big difference between Avow for 29 and Avow for 43. But according to the engine, Avow does come out 1 point better than VOW in that same spot. If everything was played perfectly. So, but it's still not going to be enough to win. It's going to lose by about 20 points. So there's actually no way for Winter to win this unless Stefan makes some kind of mistake on this next turn. But you can see that Winter has found Avower, and you would be looking at the tiles left, and he'll be dreading to see that there is some kind of big response from Stefan that will see him over the line.
The last time I checked the rule book, you're not allowed to knock your opponent unconscious and then try to get them to run over on time and incur a penalty that leads you to victory. Although I don't know if it's called out explicitly, but something to keep an eye on certainly.
Is that how you won? Is that how you won nationals?
No, my opponent was awake and sentient and is even on the call with me right now. But
That's
yes,
also true.
opponent error is a underrated but crucial part of any tournament victory.
That's exactly true. Exactly true. And yeah, the further up the ladder you go in terms of learning how to play Scrabble, and just kind of knowing what you need to learn and what you need to skills you need to know, is actually you end up realizing how little you actually know. Um, and it's always a learning game when you play Scrabble, and it's always a very fun game too. So yeah, it's always tough, and there's always lots to learn, even if you're at the top of the game. And mistakes definitely do happen. We've already seen it countless times in that sense. But some of them are obviously more major than others. So in a way, you could, if you want to see it in a certain way, whoever makes the fewest mistakes is most likely going to win in the long run. And that's exactly why we have uh, Nigel Richards. Again, we're going to mention him. He makes basically the fewest mistakes, and that's why he is the goat of Scrabble. He just doesn't make many mistakes.
We gotta put a penny in the Nigel jar, paying the Nigel tax for invoking his name.
I think we have to
But
exchange the pennies for $1 soon.
exactly. But I mean, if you're Winter here, this is frankly probably the best I've ever seen him play. So hopefully he walks away from this and he's not too frustrated by. I mean, he's going to be down to 5-5 in the tournament most likely, but yeah, we could see him back here if he keeps. I mean, he played pretty fearlessly and made maybe just the slightest of questionable decisions at the end. I was very impressed. We saw a very high quality of game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, again, pretty much no mistakes really I can think of in this game at all. And again, we're watching players that are where are they? I don't even know where they're on the scoreboard right now. So Stefan's currently seventh, as we said, and Winter's 21st. Like this is the standard we're seeing, and you see Winter's in 21st position. So it's like thinking of the incredible standard that we have in this top division right now, as we see Winter play Val, keeping rate. So I think maybe consideration here again playing against a human opponent. If you play a Val, Feg is the very obvious and easy play. At least when he plays Val here, it gives your opponent something to think about. It's not going to be an obvious and easy play. You're going to have to rack your brain and think, okay, what's going to be easier or what's the better? I mean, he's going to find something winnable anyway, but at least you don't make your life too easy for your opponent. But it does seem that playing geese through the first E of a G in the top right is actually the best play here. Keeping FI, it scores
Sorry,
29.
where is that?
Oh wait, I haven't got. Wait, have I got the right tiles? No, wait. I'm sorry. Wait, I have an extra tile here.
Okay.
Oh, my bad.
I was thinking, wow, it's really
Oh
been a
wait, that's
long
not
day of
right.
commentary. I don't even see these
Wait,
plays
I
anymore.
think I have the wrong tiles.
What year is it?
I don't know. Maybe there was just a phantom S just lying around somewhere. Oh boy.
Or maybe they
Yeah.
played 5 S's. No, they played 4. Sorry. Yeah, even just a simple play EF will get the job done. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be fancy. We'll see how long Stefan decides to sink into this. On stream, you want to put in your best effort. So I think he's probably gonna.
Yeah.
It looks
I
like
mean,
he's just picked EF. Very reasonable.
yeah. I mean, again, it's another thing of just personal pride. Just trying to give yourself the best showing in front of everybody.
Yeah, but really, I've had enough tournaments where 10 points of spread ended up being the difference in substantial amounts of prize money that I would always put the effort in. Like, I would only not work on the end game if I were really, really out of sorts because the stuff actually does pay off.
Definitely. We actually saw Noraz's play on the stream yesterday. He actually missed his only outplay in the final game. And if he actually found that, he would have won the division. It was that
No,
close to spread. Yeah, he needed to find Riotous at the top of the board. It wasn't a bingo. It was like a 16-point play, but he didn't find the outplay, and he lost on spread due to it. So again, what we're saying about spread, it does make a difference. You need to try and eke out as many points as possible. But again, we're all human. This is a long tournament, and um, you can't always give 100% on every single time. And this will, obviously, when a game is kind of say in garbage time right now, where the result is kind of in the books, so to speak, you kind of take your foot off the gas a little bit. But we see EF and then we see Pert and a Val. So that ends the game, from what I can see. Again, very well played from both players. Very impressive, actually. Really, no missteps at all.
it just speaks to the level of the at the time. Stefan says, "Are you not entertained? We are entertained, Stefan."
And I think I can see Winter kind of pointing on the board his play of Onion if what basically saying what would happen if he scooted it up 2 more positions up, would not give away that floating D for debating, and actually could potentially have been a game winning play. Again, he would probably still end up playing something like Bang or something next to the E and a D, which would still get a lot of points, but it'd be about even at that point. And again, we'll never know what would happen at that stage. There's still 12 tiles in the bag at that point, and yeah, I guess we'll never know. But it's another thing for Winter to mull over.
The only thing I can think of that could have actually made a difference, and I kind of contradicting myself earlier, but I wonder what letter he threw back on that overdraw. I would love to know that because I mean,
Yeah, I
Shop for
wonder if anyone.
57
Yeah,
is a monster of a play, but had he maybe if he'd bingoed on that play for 100 points, then none of this would have come to pass.
that's true. Yeah,
One of the
again, I
many
don't know if,
universes.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know if anyone on site had the viewing or could see exactly what tile was thrown back in the bag. I mean, it all have to be faced up on the table anyway, so they'll be viewable if anyone was actually looking. I don't know if anyone knew, but Winter did have hopped plus a blank, so it'd be interesting to see or know what letters were actually turned over and what one was actually put back in the bag. And that could have changed the game also. Again, that's another good point. I mean, if we didn't overdraw or if another letter got put in the bag, the result could have been different also. Lots of ifs and buts here.